As we get started here, the play-ins weigh heavily in my mind. And here we go.
And what also heavily weighs is two rockets that have been fired. Counterfire. Didn't kill them. Rockets still flying. Didn't kill. More rockets. Jesus.
Rockets coming out everywhere.
Nah, too spread out though. Too spread out.
Very, very dramatic barrage there.
Very nice barrage. Yes.
Yeah, that was actually kind of cool to watch.
It was just again a slightly wrongly angled bit too. They were expecting the enemy to be a bit more forward. Speaking of more rockets.
Oh, Franklin sends one.
Nah.
Way over. Way over.
Yeah, I thought they were really slow, these guys. No.
Good idea, though.
Yeah,
I like the idea, both because if you can land one of those kind of Hail Mary rockets and get 3 kills, I mean, you are really in the driver's seat of the match right off rip. So it's worth it. Worth the try.
Hail Mary. What was that? Hail Mary rockets.
Hail Mary. Well, there was an NFL game played in Germany this past weekend, so I was trying to use terminology you might be familiar with.
Yes, we Germans are big on the NFL.
I was doing my best, Alberg. I was trying.
We only play with string and schnitzel. That's all we do, you know. We don't have your fancy schmancy NFL and other things.
Germany is a poor nation. I didn't know.
Yes.
I forgot. Don't look at the GDP. It's not real.
Give Twitch money. Give Twitch money, clearly. In more serious notes, both sides are clashing slowly more and more. Rockets making their way. Missing Sopranos MG there in the window.
Yes, and this viewpoint, I think, is going to be the viewpoint that tells us the most about the state of this game.
Yes.
The circle on Derailed is in such a fun position. It kind of straddles the train tracks, and a little bit of the compound in front of you there on the very north side is in, and then a little bit south side of the train tracks is also in. So it's interesting. Both of these compounds will play heavily, and they are fighting over it right now on the north side.
I'm actually going down there because the south seems to be most of the ends of Lost Legion here. The top they are a bit more on the back area there with Glossy making his way.
Oh.
Misses. Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's gonna have an aftershock later.
I just love that you always capture these moments on stream.
Yeah, I'm very
things
lucky.
that you wouldn't believe if, it wasn't on stream, you know?
The thing of the caster curse is I curse the players, but I gain the luck.
Absolutely. Oh, very nice rocket.
What's that? What's that?
That took out Dr. Mylon.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pronounce all the names perfectly, clearly. But at the moment they're still fighting, and it seems like LTU is slowly starting to capture this.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a trade happened here. It looks like LTU has really done a nice job in the northern compound, and they are sweeping in good numbers now. But Lost Legion doing a decent job of controlling the southern compound. I'm going to call it the north compound and the southern compound for clarity. And right now, Lost Legion's still in decent shape on this southern compound, although they've got to eliminate some of these players. Cat progress coming in for LTU.
Quite a bit. I mean, this little fight area is very naughty, especially since you mostly put some OPs in there because you want to keep that area. But they can sneak in so easily. That's the danger. They can sneak in so easily.
Oh, this is a nice play here by San from LTU.
Sanitäter! Who dies horribly at the moment you mention him. Very good.
Good, but it was a good thought. I like the rotation there.
You still have your powers there, Abby. You still have your powers there of naming somebody who dies.
I have to be very careful. Oh, look, it's Tom.
Why did you say his name?
It's Tom. I'm just going to keep
saying
it.
Just want to see him die. I can see, yeah.
Tom doing...
Oh, actually.
Okay.
Tom apparently getting strength from you calling him. Lovely.
Yes, I just have to keep saying it. In before,
Yeah. I mean, it's looking alright for Tom. He might get sneaked behind. Or not.
Well, he doubles back. Okay.
I'm actually gonna go zoom out because I see that more and more the point is going towards LTU here.
Yeah, I think LTU in position to cap. But like I said, I mean, some trading has gone on here. I mean, LTU, yes, in good position on the northern compound, and I think that is probably the more impactful position on Derailed. However, Lost Legion is in control of the southern side. I'll say it lightly, not very heavily, but they are there. And as long as Lost Legion is in control of this southern compound to any extent, the northern compound will constantly be threatened. And for Lost Legion, the key is to hold these 3 buildings that kind of run at a diagonal from the central northern compound. If they can hold that, they're in good shape.
Well, 25 minutes and 5 seconds, and it was LTU, the lovely people from Lithuania, capturing the midpoint. TRL train is gone.
Good fight. I mean, LTU definitely, you know, I think if you came into this match just looking at results of the previous phases, I think LTU is probably your favorites here. But yes. I will say that Lost Legion has, in my opinion, underperformed from their potential in this competition thus far. I think that Lost Legion is a fairly good team, and they had some good results last year, but just haven't quite performed here in this tournament yet. So, you know, this is an opportunity. It's their first match of Phase 3, and it's an opportunity for Lost Legion to maybe, you know, at the very end here, get on the right foot. And we'll see. You know, I actually think this is going to be a fairly balanced game based on the first 5 minutes of fighting.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice grenade.
Yeah, those grenades are going to be very bloody and very gruesome. I would like to see some more grenades now on the circle here. Gonna actually arrange them. Oh, little rocket there.
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot of LTU players here. Lost Legion's got to be really careful. They are very at risk here on this northern side as they both go down.
And it's only Tom left, and he's just shooting walls at this point.
Let's see.
I'm
not playing squad leader, which is an interesting thing.
I'm actually happy that Dark Leonas got down there because I think the OP is right here.
Yes, but I think there were 2 OPs, and maybe they got one of them?
Let me just check. Able squad, Charlie squad. Yeah, I don't see Baker's squad at the moment, OP-wise.
So it looks like Baker got reset. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, you know, some trouble there for Lost Legion on the north side. Able has to hold out. If Able loses that position, Lost Legion is in big trouble.
I'm just gonna zoom in a bit on Ananas. Who is the closest? I think he has run out of grenades though. Rockets?
The key for Lost Legion is this Able squad has got to buy Baker and Charlie time on the south side. So Able just got to do everything they can here to stay alive, keep this outpost alive. Also, if I'm Lost Legion, I would maybe set this OP a little bit further back at this point, if you could.
Might be a good thing.
Even if it's on the other side of the wall, just to gain a little bit more space.
I mean, just a simple grenade can wipe everything, not only them, but also the OP here. It's a bit of a dangerous placement.
It is, and I mean, it wasn't dangerous a few minutes ago, and it is now. And that's the key with 18s, is recognizing that, you know, even though, because, you know, this is a good attacking OP placement for the northern compound, it's not good to defend with. They're just too close. As the squad leader goes down.
Yeah. Rockers down.
Lost Legion in trouble right now, for sure.
Woo!
But big kills come through, so that's very key. So maybe Lost Legion holds this position for another day as the spawn comes in. Still, squad leader still not in.
Miss the spawn there, strangely.
Yeah, missed the spawn wave. I think he probably missed it by a second or two. Would have been close.
I hear grenades. Just against the corpse. Okay, fair enough.
What is Point Blank from Lost Legion doing over there? I see him just alone in the center.
I think he's in the hardpoint waiting for an opportunity to strike, or basically ping enemies, presumably. Oh, he's gonna die horribly because you pointed him out.
Yep, MG finds
that's one way of doing it. Lovely, Abu.
Yes. Good MG there. So Lost Legion now, you know, Able has to do everything they can to not lose that position. And they're going to be fighting outnumbered. And the key right now is Lost Legion should be sweeping in bigger numbers in other parts of the map. Use smoke, create a distraction, buy Able some time. Because if Able loses that position, it's going to be pretty tough for Lost Legion to hang into this match, you know, late. So the wheat field here is going to be something to fight over. Lost Legion's got to find some angles and do something.
I mean, I'm going to open that for a moment here. Just want to see where they are. Baker squad now in the south more. Okay, Able squad is just on their own here fighting in the north. Charlie more in the middle and Baker squad a bit more in the south here. I assume they're going to make a push. Let me just angle a bit. So they're going to make a push in this direction, maybe. Follow the hedges a bit and push into the compound area, maybe. I would assume they're going to try to get there and then basically set something up and then spread out from there, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get there without getting noticed by everything.
One Lost Legion squad has to make it to that southern house compound. Absolutely. And I will say, Able doing a nice job here for Lost Legion. They are staying alive. Is OP still up?
OP is still up and has been, I think, moved.
Okay. So, I mean, Able...
Oh, they're moving behind the wall.
Yes, exactly like I mentioned. Yeah, that's the better play.
That's the right play to do.
Yeah, so this is good though, because as long as Able can tie up LTU here, Lost Legion is at least in the match. They cannot lose this position or it's going to be really rough for them. Let's talk about LTU for a minute. They've got great lines of sight.
Yes.
The thing with Derailed in the German side is you've got absolutely awesome and very powerful lines of sight. And you see Sopranos, the MG, in that house back there. He has got really, really good line of sight to enemies pushing in.
And so is Kyrillis.
Yeah, so you got double MGs from LTU on those positions, which I think is the right call and probably where they should be.
Well, that's the next one.
So this is interesting, right? So LTU really using, far back MGs for suppression, and I think on Derailed that is the right call. So curious to see how Lost Legion will respond to that. As I say that, if you wait, Altberg, pivot left again. I think we have some Lost Legion players getting into the backfield here. Curious to see how this fight works. So 2-on-2. That's a good rocket.
Toby.
That's hey,
and gets shot.
Oh, now who took him out?
H. I actually don't know who killed him in this case.
I'm curious to see who saw him.
Don't think Kyrillis, the MG, can't face him there.
No, I think he's blocked.
He might have been injured before and bled out, but then he wouldn't have died instantly.
Yeah, curious to see how he went down there. That was an instant death.
Costas is actually in the middle. Look at that.
Costas in the middle. LTU doing I think a really good job of playing defense on Derailed.
Yeah.
I think like Derailed is actually, in my opinion, a point that is quite difficult to play defense on. There's a lot of different angles, and not everything gives line of sight.
What a
just found him. Yeah, just found him through that little opening. Nicely done there. So LTU, I think, all things considered on Derailed, is actually doing a very, very nice job on defense. However, Lost Legion is finding openings, and like that southern compound has absolutely no one in it from either team right now, which I think is interesting. So Lost Legion is battling back here, and they are finding angles. So this is good tenacity from the LL side.
I do want to point out on that point, going back to Rocket that goes nowhere, to Lost Legion here, they actually are pushing forward through the little compound garden areas here in the back gardens. More rockets. That could have been nice. They're actually slowly starting to push now. They were on the brink of getting overrun there, and they're now slowly pushing forward towards the actual factory area.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it looked like for a minute LTU really had them on the back foot, and I thought for sure, one spawn wave goes a little differently there, and I think LTU probably pushes Lost Legion out of this compound, but Able squad for Lost Legion has kept the dream alive here on the north side. They've done their job fighting in some points, fairly outnumbered, and have used the angles of this compound to great effect, and they're still in the match. And the thing is that those MGs that you see in the back there for LTU are not super effective at hitting these spots.
No.
They can, in certain angles, there are opportunities to like really get a good line of sight, but deep in the compound where they were fighting there, not really, MGs were not super useful in really helping LTU push. So those MGs are more defensive than offensive, as I think MGs should be used in 18s. They should be defensive objects, in my opinion.
Yes, long range defensive.
Yes, and it's how you hold lots of angles. And this is good from Lost Legion, really like taking it. Now, if Lost Legion gets back into this compound, this match is going to change a little bit. Because cap progress could start going back into the Lost Legion side. And honestly, I actually think maybe tactical miscue from Lost Legion here, like they have a little bit of an opening to get in, and they didn't push.
But they didn't know that. They don't know that's the problem. When do you push and when? Because we have the magical eye in the sky, but there could be 5,000, well, 70 enemies behind the wall.
But to counter that too, you also don't know where enemies are until you push either. So by waiting, you're basically guaranteeing that LTU will come back to the same positions you just fought in, as we see LTU now filtering through the compound into the angles. So whoever from Lost Legion keeps sending these rockets, I think he's looking for the MG that's in the back, and he just can't get it.
Maybe, because I know they're spawning. They might try to basically hit the OP here.
Maybe,
that's over here.
I'm curious to see how Lost Legion will handle that OP ultimately, yeah.
I mean, if that OP was a bit more this area, it would have been destroyed by that rocket. So my guess is that they know that they're spawning in there, that little in-between area between the walls. They just don't know where, and they just think, the 2 rockets, we might hit it.
This fight just continues on the north side, and this is just urban house-to-house fighting right here in these little backyards. As LTU and Lost Legion just kind of push and shove each other back and forth, gain some ground, lose some ground. So effectively a stalemate here on the north side. How does the south side look?
So we can actually take a look at that.
Interesting. You have 2 players, Manibus and Toby, who are quite back there, getting close really to the backside of the sector for LTU. So curious to see what those Lost Legion players can do, as we maybe will have a little bit of a fight here in the wheat field. Doesn't look like it.
Nah, they already took Table Duck down here, sadly.
It's an interesting, like both sides allotting forces interesting in interesting ways. Like Lost Legion seeming to play a much more like depth strategy where they're not playing like a high line and they're playing kind of like a scattered kind of assortment of players, whereas LTU really giving high priority with 2 squads to the very northern, kind of sight line. As we see a little fight happen here.
A little fight from the group that was kind of doing the thing I was expecting. They're like going that way, going to the compound. Instead of the compound, they have gone a bit more in between the hardpoint and the compound. And now they're getting shelled quite a bit.
It'll be curious to see how LTU will handle the end of this match. Yes. I mean, they had a wild OT game here a few days ago against Ducks. It was 7 minutes long, longest OT of the phase, or longest OT of the season. It was really insane to watch. So part of that was because Ducks just barely got overtime. They got it with like 3 seconds left. They started capping, so it was very, very close. But curious to see if LTU is going to collapse fast. As we see, a element of Lost Legion is pushing the very back line.
They did get just shot by Smack on the MG, and Smack, say his name, he dies, yeah.
That's how it works. And Lost Legion almost on top of this MG. This is really important.
Doesn't take down the MG, though. Where is he moving?
What? They're going to shoot each other from... Oh, I thought he was in the house for a second. I was like, they're going to shoot each other
yeah,
from
but I
inside
thought, no, it can't be. That house is not... Yeah. No, it's actually going... I'm surprised. That MG has to be known to be there, right?
Yes, but it's interesting because just by the mere fact that Lost Legion is in the area, it's preventing Kirill's from shooting because he doesn't want to get killed.
True.
Right? So like Lost Legion just being here is effectively neutralizing this MG, which is interesting. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, he's running through the house. He's already expecting companies to phrase like that.
But this is a good idea from Lost Legion.
Yeah, look at me. He's waiting for the enemy that's not coming.
He's posted up. He's ready to go. He's ready to protect the house at all costs. I love that. But I
look
mean,
at the news. Look at the news. Oh, okay, the news is dying over there in the Able squad, and they're slowly going all around the hardpoint here.
Yeah, I mean, so Lost Legion effectively playing map control, whereas LTU playing the circle quite heavily. And I will say, I mean, LTU in a little bit of trouble here. I mean, they really only have this northern compound, and it did flicker there for a second.
It did. It did. Well, the thing is, they need to keep that... They have a nice little setup right now, but they need to actually move on from that. Just staying there in position might not help them too much.
Able squad from Lost Legion are the MVPs of this match so far. They have effectively tied up, 8, 9, 10 LTU players, like pretty much the entire match. As we see, Cap Wait is coming in for Lost Legion.
Blocked. Getting defended. That was the spawn wave there.
This could be a very critical fight coming up here.
And I think Costas could be a big boy. I don't know what the verb would be. He could be very helpful here in a moment because he's coming from the side. He is getting attacked from the MG though.
That MG did get neutralized for a period of time. It's back.
Wow.
But that MG, but he doesn't get him.
Wow.
So Costas lives, and they definitely know where that MG is now if they didn't know before. So that's not a secret anymore.
How did he? How?
just
And get shot in
leave.
the back of the head. Okay.
But, I mean, there is a small problem emerging for LTU in that they have very little control of anything outside of this northern compound. They've got a few players kind of out and about on the south side, as we see Sanitator running around. Dark Leonis running around. He goes down. I mean, look how much LTU is in that compound, and then look at, like, the rest of the map. Like, they're just not really anywhere else.
My problem is that I'm not seeing... I mean, the push on the side has died. They don't have an OP there. There's only one guy on the map at the moment. Yeah,
did that OP get neutralized?
I don't think they moved the OP.
There we go.
Yeah, I think it got destroyed because they spawned.
So my apologies. LTU did respond on the south side, so they were on the south side, and they actually neutralized that LL push. So that was very good from LTU.
But I see little cops there in the compound. They might set something up here. Rocket also. Against the roof of the building, sure.
They're trying to find it. How much time we got left?
We have 9 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay, so I think that right now, with that push in the backfield getting shut down by LTU, I think Lost Legion is definitely gonna feel pressure, because to a large extent, Lost Legion's, I don't want to say that like their whole hope for the play-in rides on this match, because I don't think that that's entirely accurate, but winning today certainly makes the play-in a lot more feasible for them. I'll say that. Really helps them in their quest to get there. So Lost Legion kind of playing for their season life to an extent here. And Lost Legion definitely has got to try and get overtime at minimum. A win would be obviously huge, but yes. Even picking up 1 point here for Lost Legion is going to hopefully keep the dream alive for them. On the flip side, a win here for LTU certainly really makes them getting into the play-in become much more of a reality as well.
I mean, they have 8 minutes and 10 seconds left. They can still move all around the map now, do all the tactics, because they're such a big sector. But I am getting a bit worried with the placement, because Abel's going to still survive on that OP and still pushing everybody. But the rest of the boys...
Circle was contested? Oh, no. Okay. For a second, I thought the circle was contested for a second. I was like, what's going on there? So, yeah, I mean, the key right now for Lost Legion is Charlie's squad for Lost Legion has been a little too content to sit back. They've been very kind of in reserve here in kind of the back line. They really need to start getting involved. They need to start actively pushing. They need to get their numbers forward.
I think I see, though, why they're so slowed down, because they are getting arrested still by Kyrillis and by Sopranos. Actually, Sopranos, I don't know.
I think...
Yeah.
I think the call here for Lost Legion would be to send Charlie's squad with Abel's squad and push that together. Yeah. And have Baker just try and tie up as many people as possible on the southern side as they push. I think that's probably the play.
I mean, they basically decide either north or south, because right now they're getting so much slowed by 2 MGs here, and then they're getting more down by other people in the waiting. Ugh. They need to somehow either cancel that MG, both MGs in the distance, or they need to either join Abel, or I would even say Baker for a long gamble there.
Yeah, they're gonna have to find a hole. Like, Lost Legion is gonna need to try and get some kind of hole generated here and push it. And the key is gonna be speed, because you've got to eliminate a bunch of players quickly, and then you have to punch into that hole fast.
Yes.
And really try and get players forward and change the dynamic of the match. Because I think the issue for Lost Legion is they trade kills, and I think honestly both teams have been trading kills fairly well in this match. Yes. I think LTU is probably advantage, but
except Abel Scott, who I think has traded very well here in the north so far.
Yes. But the issue is that they had an opening. We saw an opening for them about 7-8 minutes ago. Yeah. And they just didn't push in, and obviously it's hard to know when to push, but I mean that would have been the time to at least try, because at minimum what you're doing is you're shifting the front line more towards them. If you sit and wait for too long, it basically means that you'll never be able to gain enough ground and really take what you need to take.
Or maybe they were trying, maybe they had the order to stay put and just basically be pressure there, so the rest of the LTU doesn't go there. I don't know.
Big rockets coming in here. The rockets in this game have been really fun. Very
blind rockets now. It's not very nice rockets now. They're getting a bit more blind, a bit more guessing.
General Squid doesn't see Matt.
I don't think he has vision. No, he doesn't have vision.
Yeah. Oh, he's.
Yeah, the little toilet house is in the way.
Oh. Okay. General's gonna know now. Let's see. Oh, this. Okay. So we got a little over 5 minutes to go here. LTU in the driver's seat of this match.
5 minutes exactly right now.
Lost Legion is gonna.
No.
Oh. Yeah. Until this player is shut down, Lost Legion is not going anywhere on that north side. It's interesting. Yeah. Look at LTU now shifting out a little bit and gaining a little bit more ground and trying to keep Lost Legion away. Well, that one was closer.
Yeah, but again, too low. I've noticed that they are undershooting a lot of rockets lately. Or they're just shooting roofs.
Hard to get those rockets exact.
Yeah, fair enough.
It is hard. So now, with 4 minutes and change, I think
it's 4 minutes 20, yes.
They're gonna have to just go all in one spot. And like Charlie Squad's gonna have to abandon this position in the center. And I think the only play left for Lost Legion is to send everyone north side and just barrel your way through.
Yes, because LTU is dominating the south. At least it's mostly red. They're starting trying to push into who is that? Baker and Charlie Squad's OPs here.
Yeah, I still don't fully understand why this entire LTU squad is holding the center the way they are right now.
No idea.
I'm not entirely sure of the call there, because I think at this point, with this much time left on the clock, you gotta just go for the circle, and being in that position isn't going to influence your ability to win. Like, if LTU gets to the backfield at this point, they get to the backfield. There's nothing you can do about it. All you care about is the circle.
I would understand if they were going for they were going to the compound there, and then they're gonna basically launch the last big attack. But they're not doing that either. They're just dying.
Right. They're kind of stuck here, and
Charlie Squad moved the OP.
Yep. Yeah. So that's the right call. I mean, that's the only play left. You gotta just go through the compound that Abel's been fighting in, and you gotta try and create an opening. They got close in moments, but they just haven't quite found the angle. I mean, props to LTU. They've been really doing a nice job of shutting down all the lanes of attack.
I think Lost Legion, they're still spawning the south with Baker's, but I think they're just there to basically help the other squads with their push here, so they don't get locked down from the sides, but...
Yeah, I think I think what's been haunting every team in 18s is just everyone just seems to be a little too slow to react to what you need to do. Like if this squad had come 3-4 minutes ago, it would have had a much greater impact. But now LTU knows. I mean, they're just running down the clock. LTU knows, like, hey, we hold out for 2 minutes and change here. 3 minutes and change. Like, we win the game. So, like, all they have to do now is just centralize to the circle. So when you wait too long, you basically telegraph what your intentions are.
And more pressure is put on Lost Legion here. They need to do more daring plays now. They need to actually sacrifice. You see that? They literally have to throw themselves at the enemy because they need to make each step. Yeah, they need to earn and then fight for each step now more and more. Because they're running out of time, Just less than 2 minutes. 1 minute 52 left.
I think if Lost Legion had shifted to this north side with 7-8 minutes to go, they actually might have had some success.
Yeah.
And they might have actually made it in, but just a little too slow to react. I mean, as I say that, we are seeing a lot of them come in now. There is still time, but it's an uphill battle. A lot of smoke coming out though, so we'll see.
Oh, that smoke is good, but yeah, still getting picked off. Blocky there on the train.
Pino Noir's got to really come up big here for his team. He's got to try and get some kills quickly to open up angles. He's kind of alone in the LTU line. Pino Noir's really got to try and do something here. There's only a minute left.
Maybe he's ping. He has nobody to ping, so I don't know what he's. Maybe he's trying to block like a Grodarin and an Ananas there on the side. Oh, people.
Yeah, I
but
think
it's 52 seconds left. 51. It's not looking good right now for Lost.
Lost Legion would need to basically kill everyone from LTU in the compound and run into the circle to have a chance of capping, and they need to do it in the next like 10 seconds.
They need to win all the firefights, which they are getting more trouble because they're getting slowed down more and more.
Yeah, what I saw here was I felt that Lost Legion was a little too apprehensive in pushing. Like they were just like a little too unsure. Like, is this the right time? Should we go now? And I think that's ultimately what's going to cost them in this match.
17 seconds to go. They basically do rush through their southern compound. It's completely in the hands of LTU.
This will be an LTU win here. This was a really good effort from Lost Legion in sections, and I really like the idea. And like props to Able Squad.
Very big props to Able Squad.
Able Squad kept Lost Legion in this match nearly single-handedly for large sections. So really good job from them. I mean, they played well. And honestly, I don't think Lost Legion played badly by any means.
No.
But I think they just didn't take advantage and capitalize and push when it really could have impacted the match.